All right. Yeah. Welcome to the Davos Cyber Future Dialogue 2024. So my name is Lingaraj Patil. I am Executive Chair at the Purple Book Community. Now I have the pleasure of interviewing Sean Calfan. Sean Calfan is a Senior Vice President and Chief Information Security Officer at Discover Financial. I've known him for many years, and I just respect the kind of thought leadership and insights he brings to the table. So, Sean, looking forward to the conversation with you and welcome.
Thank you for having me, Raj.
Yeah, so Sean, I know you have a very rich background, right, from national security to public sector and private sector. Can you tell us a bit about your journey so far?
Yeah, thank you, Raj. Just a little bit about my background. Really break my career into three phases. Post-military, after school, combat tour, learning small team risk management as we went into Iraq, when we think about operational risk, composite risk assessments, and then moving into the national security space within the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security, whether it's operations, secure engineering to policy and strategy in the Pentagon, leading against some of our most advanced national security threats. And then moving into financial services, where the economic impact to our country is the underpinning and that drives. It's one of our critical levels of hard power. How do we ensure we can enable digital transformations and manage risk through our financial services sector, which underpins our economy?
All right. Yeah. So, Sean, I think the background that you have and what happened in 2023, I think in many ways it all came together from nation threats to the cybersecurity, right? I think you probably leaned on each one of those experiences in your work. So I'd like to ask you this question. So what stood out when you look back at 2023?
Yeah. Well, it was an interesting year, but if I narrow it down to just from a cybersecurity perspective, what stood out for me, first, we saw the rise of generative AI and the prompt reaction of how do we ensure we can leverage the benefits for business value and acceleration, but also how do we ensure we have the right risk management guardrails, whether it's model risk management, whether it's third-party risk management, and technology risk management. How do we ensure we have the right guardrails in place to, whether it's input validation, whether it's model validation, to ensure that we have the right guardrails, but also we can create the velocity so you can keep pace and also accelerate business and create business value. And that could be customer value and improving customer service. It could be fraud analytics and enhancement there. That's been a key driver in getting those pieces in place. I would also submit what we've seen is the continued and expanded attack on broader commonly used software platforms, what we've seen with file transfer suites, what we've seen with attacking VPN software and identity platforms or abusing identity platforms while adversaries and attackers may not have or have limited success attacking companies directly. By targeting the supply chain ecosystem of commonly used software, we're starting to see risk exposure there. And how do we ensure that you have the right, whether we've heard SBOM, but things like software bill of materials, ensuring we have the right understand where our software libraries are, the software that we depend on, and ensuring we have the right mitigation techniques and measures, and also encouraging secure software practices to have more robust products across our third-party ecosystem. I'm surprised and happy to see executive orders around software resilience and around resilience in supply chain writ large, in addition to acts like the CHIPS Act. Really excited to see the foundation of that we're setting broadly and looking at where we're looking at the future. The last piece I would highlight is just the broader regulatory environment. While we've seen an increase of executive orders that start to focus and raise attention to the cybersecurity and information security challenges we face, we're also seeing the holding boards of directors at really tapping into that duty of care and fiduciary responsibility with the SEC cyber rule for publicly traded companies to call out. It raises the bar in that it brings the importance of security for those firms who may not have had it in the boardroom, it's now a key boardroom discussion, and it helps to looking at the positives of this, looking at to make it a boardroom discussion, and ensuring that those discussions are of true operational and cyber risk management are at the forefront.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I mean, like you covered, I mean, like 2023 was a very, very eventful year on many areas, right? So that probably has laid the foundation for what to expect in 2024. So how do you see 2024 panning out from the vantage point that you see and what you saw in 2023?
I think, in my view, I'm anticipating we'll see an acceleration of generative AI accelerated threats. While this year, while firms were learning how to unlock business value, attackers and how can I expect this? And there's two parts of this equation that we'll see. We'll see in 2024. We'll see an acceleration of how to abuse these models, abusing them, whether it's model context extraction, data poisoning, model-specific vulnerabilities that attack the underlying LLMs. And we'll also see the acceleration or weaponization of generative AI, whether it's deepfakes, phishing, et cetera. How do we accelerating the kill chain, which has already been accelerated from what we've seen from exploit to weaponization to active exploitation. We're going to see continued compression of that attack lifecycle. And security teams and defenders will need to work to better defend. And how do we ensure the right guardrails and controls are in those models to protect the input, manage the output, and access and integrity of those models. But also we'll see solutions and capabilities that enable defenders to better detect, disrupt the kill chain with these generative AI accelerated threats. Lastly, I think we'll start to see a turn with the regulatory frameworks as an enabler. While there has been a lot of consternation with things like the SEC cyber rule, I think we'll see a turn in having security executives and risk executives use this as an enabler to drive the attention, to drive the investment of resources, to drive, to take a broader role, whether it's serving on their company disclosure committee, whether it's taking a more active role in the risk management and how they engage with the street, with their firms. So I think this is a continued rise of the chief information security officer or risk executive that puts them at the forefront of this broader operational risk challenges we'll see of the future.
Yeah, so very salient points there. So do you see the relationship between maybe security officers and the board getting closer because of the changes that are bringing in with these regulations?
Absolutely. I would submit that many firms have their security leaders have a strong relationship with their board of directors, specifically the risk or audit or technology committees that they have in place. But it'll be paramount to continue to strengthen those relationships, ensure awareness, ensure that boards of directors are aware of those duty of care responsibilities with respect to cyber risk. But there are many institutions and companies out there that may not have they may not have that level of visibility. It may not have there might be leaders who may not have that time with their boards of directors. And I think we're going to see a surge in that, and where it's not just a backroom technical function, an engineering function, it's broader risk management. And seeing that fusion and that engagement with boards and senior leaders will be critical.
Yeah. Very aptly said there. So, Sean, as leaders look into 2024, do you have a call of action for them?
Yeah, I would submit we're going to have technology issues and evolution of tech, and while we'll see the bar continue to raise and move forward, there are always going to be commensurate threats. Continuing, when we think about processes, protocols, those will continue to shift. The most important component at the end of the day is the people, ensuring the collective defense that we continue to build, ensuring continuing to enhance private-public partnerships with academia, with industry, with government, with the innovation communities and venture capital and PE. How do we ensure we can accelerate that and continue to build those partnerships and collaboration against security leaders? We all face the same challenge How do we ensure we're banding together for collective defense, active defense, to better partner? At the end of the day, how do we ensure we can pick up the phone, we can share information to accelerate and compress our own response cycles to protect and defend these emerging threats?
Yeah, thank you so much. After all this technology that we talk about, it all comes back to the people and the relationships that we have, right? Such a great message, Sean. Thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to hearing more from you as the year progresses.
Thank you, Raj. Take care.
Thank you.